Here we go. Here we go. We back. We back. Sorry for the delay, but we back. We back. Here we go. Hey, yo, what it is and what's good, y'all? Welcome back to 280 Plus, the social media podcast where I take the conversations off the timeline and go beyond the tweets. I'm your host, Lowe's Def, and I'm back here for episode 186. And I'm here solo with y'all for this episode. And at first, I want to give a shout out to my former guests in the last couple episodes. I had an artist by the name of DTW Judah. He came in here. He also does some fashion design. We still got some stuff that we could like kind of promote and put out in terms of his branding and his music. I'm looking forward. He was an artist that said that he was going to be dropping a new EP each month. So now it's April. I'm kind of anticipating when he's going to drop this April tape and see where it goes from there. Then I want to give a shout out to my man Stu. Man, that's my boy, bro. Like he's a dude that he's been on the podcast a couple times. One of my best friends, man. And it was funny because I had a conversation with somebody. It was my female, one of my female best friends, and she was like, "Yeah, y'all guys, do y'all even use that term, whatever?" And I was like proud, and I was like, "Yeah, I still call people my best friend, whatever." You know what I mean? But yeah, he's in Dallas now, so it's good to just chop it up with him, man. I got to get down there. Last time he lived in Dallas, I didn't get a chance to go down there, and but I got to make that right this time. And then my brother, man, my white brother, but my boy Levi, man, y'all know him from my co-host of Recap and Record. And he's also been on the podcast a bunch of times. I'm going to his wedding in the summertime. He's having a destination wedding in Mexico. That's already all booked up. You know, flights, rooms, all that good stuff. Everything's already set. So I'm excited about that one. And but yeah, man, shout out to him, man, because it's always good to record with a content creator, another podcaster who just kind of understands the grind and kind of the process in which, you know, he and I have a similar process in which we kind of create some episodes. He's catching up to me now. He was episodes behind me, and now he's like catching up because I'll take a week off here or there. So but yeah, if you're brand new to the channel, I'd like you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. This is episode 186. Welcome back to everybody that's a returning viewer. You already know what to do. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. Leave a comment if you want to be a part of the conversation, and then share the content, whatever. All right. So yeah, man. Yeah, I took a little man, it was just hectic. All right. So I've been recording on the weekends, like the end of the weekend. I've been doing that, and I was like, it was working, it was working with my guests. And then the week before last, like my son's birthday is on the 20th, the first day of spring. So that weekend that came past that, like I was busy. So I couldn't get a guest then, and then I got sick. And something messed up with my eye, bro. And I was out it for a little bit, and then I was preparing for my birthday, which was this past weekend. And so I just haven't had time to kind of like schedule a guest and things like that. So hopefully, man, we get back in another rotation of having some guests, but obviously we'll still do solo content as well. I don't shy away from that at all. So, but today's episode, man, we're gonna talk about March Madness and kind of where we stand right now. We're at the Final Four stage. This is the best part of March Madness. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna have another mental health moment, and this one I'm gonna be blind reacting to this. I took a glimpse at this video, but I didn't really watch it. So we're gonna just kind of have a blind reaction to that. That's how we're gonna start the show. We're gonna talk about March Madness at some point in the show. We're gonna talk about some TV shows that I've just been liking and watching, and then even in between there, at some point in time, we're gonna talk about a news article that came out that talks about the enrollment of Black males in college, particularly a famous HBCU and Howard University, and just talking about the impacts of that. And I just kind of wanted to react to kind of the findings in this study, but also just like where it leaves us um nationwide and moving forward. All right. So I've been trying to promote my stuff on YouTube, but I've been getting flagged. I've been getting flagged for shocking content. So anytime I notice, anytime that you talk a little bit about what's going on in the climate of the nation, and I'm trying to use my words very carefully, and when you start talking about certain individuals, they automatically flag it as it being a certain type of content, and I'm just like, bruh, it's not even that. They're calling some of my content shocking, and I'm just like, bruh, like I'm not, we not even going in for real, for real. Like I'm not being egregious out here, but it is what it is. We're gonna keep on rolling with what we got going on. So, again, we're gonna start off with the mental health moment. But again, if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and keep us moving in the algorithm, right? So, yeah. So first thing we're gonna start off with, and my favorite social media therapist, and I don't want to say that disrespectfully because this woman, I don't, she's not a social media therapist. She just happens to have a following on social media. I just recently had, like, I seen a video where she was talking about, like, somebody critiqued her and they was like, oh, like, where the, you need some initials behind your name and things like that. Because I have been critical of I have been critical of people that come off giving advice, and it feels like they're giving like psychological advice and therapeutic advice, but then they're like a life coach, but they don't like, and I'm talking about Dr. Shane Bryant, right? So like she's somebody that she has degrees, but she don't necessarily have, like, she's not a like a clinician, like in terms of, like, she's not a therapist. So, and she be kind of trying to give, she talking from a therapeutic lens, and it's like you're not actually a therapist. So like somebody like that, I do need some credentials there. But this woman that I usually react to, Raquel, the capacity specialist, I believe her name is. But I'm gonna react to a video of hers, and she definitely has initials behind her name. She has all the credentials that you need. So, and you could just tell, like, the way she kind of comes off, like, it's not just that she's coming off informed. She comes off very down to earth, and like she's not talking. I feel like she's talking with you. She's not trying to talk at you. And sometimes some of these like content creators, influencers, life coaches, they be trying to talk at people instead of talking to them and talking with them. And I feel that this girl, this lady Raquel, she does a good job of doing that. So let's start off with that, and then we're gonna get going with the rest of the show though. So let me pull this up here. So this one, she says, so it says, a therapist exposes how the mental health industry promotes victimization. How the mental health industry promotes victimization. Now, I haven't seen this video in full, so again, this is gonna be a blind reaction. So let's make sure we share the sound so y'all can hear it as well. Yep, and we're good. And let's play it. Let's see what she got to say.
The mental health industry, it has done an amazing job at raising awareness, but a terrible job at promoting growth. Instead of
Mm.
helping people build capacity, it's created a culture where identifying with struggle is more important than overcoming it. We've made it uncomfortable to challenge certain narratives because they're tied to identity, so much so that if you push back, people assume people assume that you just don't understand. But here's what I know. Understanding something doesn't mean you have to live by it. I'm black, so I already know that they're against me. Yes, systemic barriers exist. History is real, but when did your entire existence become a reaction to oppression? When did you stop seeing yourself as someone who builds and instead as someone who is constantly blocked? Strength isn't just about pushing through, it's about refusing to let obstacles define what's possible for you. I could say that I'm a woman, right? As a woman, you have to work twice as hard. You're expected to do all of the things. But does that mean that you accept exhaustion as a personality trait? Who told you that proving your worth had to come through suffering? Strength isn't about constantly overcompensating. It's about knowing when to stop performing and start demanding. As a trauma survivor, maybe you say, I can't handle negativity. Healing isn't about removing every trigger. It's about building the capacity to navigate life without crumbling. If you only feel safe in controlled environments, you haven't healed. You've just rearranged your world to avoid discomfort. And that's not resilience and or strength. That's avoidance dressed up as self-care. We have confused acknowledgement with attachment, thinking that naming our struggles means that we have to live in them forever.
Yes.
The goal of mental health should never be to keep you fragile. It should be to make you stronger.
There we go. I
The
love, I
mental
love, I love how she speaks on these topics like this, because that's what we're talking about here, and that's again, she's Raquel, the capacity expert. So, and that's the biggest thing I think that makes her different than some of these other therapists, or at least just her perspective and point of view. It's just this aspect that like, yo, you cannot sit in whatever you got going on, you cannot sit in it. And she's talking about building capacity and making you be able to push through. And that's the missing piece there. It's not about just identifying your problems. It's not about just, giving yourself a diagnosis or giving yourself a label. It's about, all right, it's about identifying it, but then how do we push through? How do we live life normally, right? And that is where there are some naysayers when it comes to mental health and therapy. They say that, oh, they're here to just keep you sick and things like that. I think that in general, I think when we have conversations about mental health, that's where we are in the victim stage, right? But I don't think therapists in it of themselves, right? I don't think they are promoting victimization. I think it's people that are receiving therapy that are talking about their experiences, but then aren't doing the work. And me and my man Stu talked about that, doing the work. You gotta do the work. If you're gonna go to therapy, that's step one. But then what about step two, three, four, five, and six, right? So it's that's just a piece of it. And I actually have another clip that I just want to share with you because to me it speaks to this victimization. And I thought it was ridiculous. I thought this was so absurd what I had seen, and I was like, oh yeah, I gotta share this real quick. But let me get this video ready for y'all, and I'll be we're gonna get back right back to business. All right, here we go. All right, so here we go. This just speaks to the victimization part of everything that we just was talking about, right? Real quick. This not necessarily, I guess this is somewhat mental health, but it's talking about like a struggle that somebody has, and just look at where we're going with the victimization. So just this is just this is a microcosm of what we're talking about. So let's take a look at here. Look at this lady. Watch this. Watch this. All right, here we go.
People talk about black women being obese. I hate it because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create. We are living in the Trump era. And look, those policies kill our people. And what public health practitioners think is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same. I hate when people talk about black women being obese. I hate it.
We're gonna watch this one more time. Hold on. Listen to this lady. So again, talking about struggle, right? She's talking about being obese and things like that, and she hates she hates when people make comments about black women and that may suffer from a form of obesity or the growing obesity epidemic, right? Let's listen again.
Because it becomes a way to blame us for a set of conditions that we didn't create. We are living in the Trump era. And look, those policies kill our people. And what public health practitioners think is that our stress responses in the body change our metabolism. It's literally that the racism that you're experiencing and the struggle to make ends meet actually means the diet don't work for you the same. I hate when
You cannot make that up, right? You cannot make that up. So I gotta give a shout out to some of these comments, right? So me, I left a comment. I said, I just, LMAO. I said, please stop. Hey, there's another person said, I love my black women, but I don't know about this one. This was a good comment. Was it better in the Biden era? Did you just put this weight on? Weren't you a big girl when Obama was in office? What was your excuse then? So yes, Les. We like There are certain things that like there are certain conditions that are in place in life that we cannot control. But this is a woman, this is an example of a woman that's trying to live in her victimization, right? So she doesn't want to, for whatever reason, like either, so there's a couple things. She either doesn't want to lose the weight because she doesn't want to lose the weight, she doesn't want to change her lifestyle. She struggles, like she's tried and she's failed, and right, she struggles with cravings, things like this. Maybe socioeconomics is a problem, and it's easier, whatever. But like those things are in place, those things might be true, all those things might be valid, but like we cannot sit in that. You can't just be like, oh, well, I hate when like y'all hating on my obesity, but it's because of X, Y, and Z. And she going, you hear what she said. She said what era we in terms of politics. And it's like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, sure, there might be some policies that have changed, whatever, but like ain't nothing stopping you from having some self-control, right? Like you are stopping yourself from having self-control, right? So like it's just a thing there that I feel like it relates to what we're talking about, where, and again, maybe she is going to therapy for something like that, but probably not. But like she's learned to be a victim and just to kind of sit in her situation as opposed to making anything happen for herself. I seen this other video that talked about habits and routines and stuff like that, right? And when people say that they have a bad habit, right? And it's this is a complete mind shift. Like when you really think about this, it's like, oh, wait up. Like I have way more capacity and control than a lot of times I give myself credit for. But again, it was a video that I seen, but I can't quote it exactly. But one thing that he was talking about was like, he was like, yeah, you don't have a bad, there's no such thing as a bad habit, right? There's such things as bad choices, right? Because a habit is something that you don't actually realize is going on, right? Like if it's a habit, you don't always necessarily, you're not consciously realizing that you're doing it, right? Or a pattern, like patterns and habits, those are behaviors that are taking place and you're not really conscious of it. Once you identify that you have a habit for something, whether maybe it is overeating, maybe it's smoking, maybe it's drinking, maybe it's uh I don't know, maybe you're a hoarder of some sort. Whatever it is. Once you recognize it, right? Once you realize that this is what you got going on, you're still making the choice to continue to do it. Like it's still a choice. Now, there are certain things that like physiology, like your physiology and your body, it starts to be like, it might go through a sense of like withdrawal, or you might feel like you need it, right? You might have like a dependency on something, but at the same time you recognize that it exists. And if you keep doing it and you want to stop, and it's something that you want to stop, right? It's something that you want to prevent. You can't just use it like, oh, it's just a bad, I can't help myself, it's just a habit, it's habit. No, you can help yourself. You are still consciously making that choice every single day, right? I mean, I was talking to my boy about this, right? He was talking about being late and things like that, and like, yeah, it's something that he's grown accustomed to. He was late. He's been late since he was a little kid, but he's realized like he's taking that to adulthood. But like he realizes though too, like he's making a choice to like not go to bed soon enough, not wake up, and care about certain things, right? So at the end of the day, it's a choice. So that's the same thing with this, right? This victimization. Like we all have a choice, man. We all have a choice to lift ourselves out of our situations if we really want to, right? I yeah, I'm myself, right? Like I'm going through I'm trying to change some eating habits, right? And yeah, it gets tough. It gets tough. I'm not dealing with like no extreme obesity, whatever. But like, yeah, I want my body to look a certain way for the summertime when I'm hitting these vacations. but at the same time, like it's a lot, it's a series of choices that I'm making, whether it's not going to the gym, whether it's not deciding to snack, whether it's not drinking enough water, right? Like I'm making those choices. I want the junk food, I want the sweet drinks, I want, all these different things, and I'm making a choice to indulge in that as opposed to like refrain. But like now, I got like about 4 months to like really get right. And it's like, yo, if I want to get right, I gotta make some conscious moves. And that's what I'm trying to do. So, but that goes for everybody, man. And again, we can relate that to mental health. We can relate that to that comment or that little video that we saw there. But it all plays a part, man. We all, and again, you can't do it all in one day, right? Rome wasn't built in a day, right? You can't change everything in one day, but you do have to start being conscious about not being a victim of your circumstances, no matter what those circumstances are. So but yeah, I thought that was good. I thought that was good. Let's move on. Let's move on. Next topic. Next topic. All right, guys. So next topic, man. So we're gonna talk about man, there's an alarming statistic out there in terms of black men and their rate in which they're enrolled into schools, right? So this all came about, like even just like thinking about this, it came about because of a New York Times article, and they talk about Howard University and how right now there's like this stubborn. Yeah, so according to the New York Times, the article is titled "At Black Colleges, a Stubborn Gender Enrollment Gap Keeps Growing." Okay, so let's hear journalist, everybody, you might know him, you might have seen him before, Torre. You've seen him before, you might not always know his name, but he reacted to a part of this, and then we're gonna take some cliff notes of what he's saying and what's in the article, and we're gonna react to it as well. All right. So let me share the screen here. Here we go. All right, here we go. It says black men are not attending college. That's just his basic caption, but it has to do with this article that I also read as well. So let's keep going. Oh, let me refresh that real quick, y'all. Here we go. Man, why did I do that? All right, here we go.
Black men are not attending college, and this is a horrendous trend. The number of black men at four-year colleges has plummeted, and at Howard University, there are as many non-black students as there are black men. Howard is just 19% black men. There's an array of reasons why this is happening, but the number one thing sociologists point to is something they call the belief gap, that a lot of young black men don't believe that they can or should be able to handle college intellectually or financially. Guys, college is a critical part of gaining the intellectual skills you need to get into the middle class. Black women have known for years and years that they need degrees to overcome racism and misogyny and get as far as they can in life, and they have become the most educated demographic in the country. But leaving black men out of that trend means a lot of potential wealth that could go into the black community won't go into the black community, because people who could have become middle class professionals and intellectuals will not be able to make that leap. Apparently,
That's a real talk. That's real spill, right? So let's talk about the article and some of the things, and then I'll give my commentary. So yes, it says a staggering 19% of black. There's a staggering 19% of black enrollment, and this is down from when, like back in 1976, it was already low, right? And this is Howard University. This is a HBCU. Now this is a more prestigious HBCU. This is one that costs you about $50,000 a year, which is on the high end. So like there's definitely factors. There's definitely factors to it, but still 19% of black, there's only of the whole school population, only 19% are black men. And this is down from an already very low percentage of 38% of back in 1976. Now, back in 1976, it was pretty much like, so if it was 36% um black men, that means that or was it 38%. It was if it was 38% black men, probably for the, by and large the other 62% was probably black women. Now because these HBCUs they struggle with getting black enrollment, right? They allow other cultures and other races to go to these HBCUs now. So they said that 19% of black men makes up the entire population of like not of non black students at this college at this university. That's how many black men are, or there's probably more non-black students than there are black men at that particular institution. And it's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy. So if you think about that, right? Like back in the day at 38%, it was like if just say like I said, the other 62% was women. We're looking at almost a 3-to-1 ratio when it comes to women to men at Howard, right? So like, bro, that would have been the ticket, right? That would have been the ticket. That would have been the selling point for me as a young boy back in the day. Like, yo, I could go to this university and we got, I mean, it's 3-to-1. Women are 3-to-1 to men out there. So like, just for that the social aspect, you'd be like, all right, yeah, it's definitely a lot of women there, right? Now, right? Again, we don't know. I don't have the full statistic of how many black women are there, but that's 20% of black are black men, right? So we could be looking at a 5-to-1 ratio right here. You know what I'm saying? For every black man, there's five other people of any other type, whether it's a woman, whether they're another race, whatever. But like, yeah, we're outnumbered for sure. One in every five, right? Um, and one of the things in the article that it talked about, it says the decline has profound implications for economic mobility, family formation, and wealth generation. Raj Chetty, a Harvard economist who uses large data sets to study economic opportunity, has found that the income gap between America's black and white populations is entirely driven by differences in men's economic circumstances, not women's, right? So basically what they're saying in that is like, yo, to bring families about, or to bring the statistics about, when you're talking about a population and we're talking about like a racial demographic, the men are the ones that kind of bring you out of that gap, or that deficit. It's not going to be the men. So that's even with white men, right? Like white men are the drivers of generational wealth. Black men have to be the drivers of black generational wealth, right? But I mean, we'll see where that goes. It says the causes are many: higher college costs, the immediate financial needs of black families, high suspension rates in high school, and a barrage of negative messages about academic potential all play roles in the decline of black male enrollment and college completion. Howard estimates that its cost of attendance for undergraduates easily exceeds $50,000 a year. And then a last quote I got from here says, if you're serious about reducing race gaps in economic opportunity, household wealth, etc., then our attention should be squarely focused on economic outcomes for black boys and men, period. Full stop, said Richard Reeves, president of the American Institute for Boys and Men. So, yeah, man. So yeah, definitely the fact the money the cost of it, that could be definitely, maybe let's rank that as the number one thing. Like most people are thinking like, well, no, I can't afford it. I can't afford to go. So get that out of the equation, right? Get that out of the equation. And then what they said was the household needs, like yeah, financial needs of black families, right? So yes, a black boy might be the one that's in a family, might be the one that feels that he has to get his family, has to keep his family right, he has to keep his family out of poverty, has to keep them from struggling. That's why a lot of our young boys start to hustle at a young age, right? Because a lot of them feel strapped for cash. Most of these young boys that hustle, at least in my time, right? Like, I don't know how it is now, because I feel like young boys now, they don't even necessarily hustle. They do some other weird stuff, right? They be the users of the substances and things like that. But there was a time when I know when I was growing up, people felt like if I knew a young dude that was hustling out here, he was doing it and he was paying bills in his house. He was putting food in the refrigerator for his family. He was keeping the lights on, so to speak. And so when a young black boy feels that he has to take care of his family, then going away, going to school, that stops that finances, because there might not be a father in the home, right? There might not be another male figure, right? So that stops that income, and that leaves the family, in need. So like now I can't go to college. So I can't go to college because it's already too expensive. But I also can't go to college because my family needs me here. And if I don't stop working, and let's just make it simple and say that the young black boys had to work harder. They got to get full-time jobs, sure, but why? But then we also see, like, with mass incarceration and stuff like that, younger boys are getting into the game, so to speak, younger and younger. At least there was a time when that was the case, right? So I can't go because it's too expensive, but also if I leave, my family starves, all right? I can't do that, right? I can't allow that to happen. And then these other factors says high suspension rates in high school and a barrage of negative messages about academic potential. So high suspension rates, yes, like that's what holds a lot of our young athletes back, right? Even just academic success. There's so many so where I'm from in Pennsylvania, right? I feel like we've had some amazing athletes over time, right? My hometown, we had the state champions. Now it wasn't the city school, whatever, but it's still York, PA, so to speak. They were Central York. They were the state champions in 2024, right? State champions, 6A, the biggest class that you could win a state title in. And not obviously the whole team is not black or whatever, but like we've had some success, right? That's what I'm here to speak on. But there's a lot of guys that have had success in your county, right? But like they didn't have the grades, right? Or they had some negative marks in terms of behavior and suspensions and things like that that had prevented them from maybe even performing on the field, or from maybe even getting considered, because, like, when colleges are admissions, they're looking at the whole student, right? And they're seeing a kid that gets in a couple fights, or skirmishes, or things like that. They get into some conflict. Those kids might not get admitted, right? Not saying that's the end all be all, but like, yeah, needing the having the ability to kind of stay out of trouble, like just staying out of trouble, staying out the way, right? Getting suspended for different things. That's a barrier. But then also, we said messages of academic potential, right? Negative messages of academic potential. And this is where I want to talk about it, because I feel like it became way more prominent because of the pandemic, right? But I feel like we've been selling our young boys a bad bill of goods, man, when it comes to going to college and things like that. So being an entrepreneur is amazing. Like, if you could pull it off, if you can do what you got to do, and you can make money, and you can work for yourself and be self-made, that's amazing. That is amazing. But we all can't be entrepreneurs, right? Like there has to be a consumer class, so to speak, right? And there has to be a middle class. There has to be an educated class of folks within the community. And whether you believe it or not, post-secondary education, right, getting a college degree, is at the very least the most straightforward path to getting out of poverty, right? It's the most straightforward path to getting out of poverty. So, because yes, you can start a business, but like, maybe you're starting the wrong business, right? Maybe you're starting a business that's already very saturated, or you live in a bad market, or a bad market for what you're trying to sell. Maybe you have like a low customer base, or you just don't have the raw materials. Maybe you just don't even have the business acumen, and you don't have the knowledge, right? So like, there's all these different like things that can take us apart from being an entrepreneur. Like it's not a straight path a lot of times with being an entrepreneur. Like, yes, it's, make more money, sell more than what it costs to make your goods, right? Yeah, sure. Like that is simple economics, right? But like that's not typically how it works with being an entrepreneur. Because there's a lot of people that get into business and they don't know how to market. They don't know how to advertise. They don't know how to price things. There's all these different factors, right? They don't know how to scale. They don't know how to scale. They don't know how to make it from a little thing into something bigger, right? They don't have the capital. They don't have, a lot of times they just don't even have the money to even go. So that's not whatever. But going to college and getting a degree, even a bachelor's degree. Now, some people have higher degrees and things like that, and obviously you're gonna increase your chances for and you might not be rich, whatever, but you're getting out of poverty, right? And you're driving and you're making the economic gap a lot smaller, right? By going to college. We've been selling our young men a bad bill of goods because we discourage it a lot. We tell them that college is a waste. We tell them that you're not going to make no money. We tell them that it's we make them scared about student loan debt and things like that. But like I said, man, getting a post secondary degree is the most straightforward path to getting out of poverty. Now, there's factors though. There's things that we can work smarter, not harder, right? We can be more mindful of how when we apply for colleges and what we're going to school for, right? That's the biggest thing. It's not about it's yes, going to school can be a dead end for people, but like most people with degrees are not, you're not seeing a lot of people with degrees that's out here starving. Like you're just not. Like statistics don't show that. Statistics do not show that people with degrees are out here worse off than people without degrees. Like it just the math is not don't math for that. It don't support that, right? So what we need to do is, right, we need to have better college preparation in terms of what the outlook is for certain careers, right? We do need to discourage certain careers, right? We do need to be honest with our young people and say like, yo, do you want, like, and we got to ask the real questions like, yo, do you want to make money? Do you want to be comfortable? What kind of life do you want to live? Like what kind of life do you want to live? Like do you want to live paycheck to paycheck? Do you want to be able to take vacations and save money and invest and things like that? Well, yeah, you probably shouldn't get a degree in this, right? And I'm not going to discourage anything off the bat, but like, we all know like there's certain degrees that are like dead ends. Well, we could say a degree, like if you get a philosophy degree, that's probably not the most smart, that's probably not the smartest thing to do. If you just get a bachelor's in psychology, that's probably not the smartest thing to do. If you're going to school for dance and things like that, it's probably not the smartest and most lucrative things to do. But if you are going for certain career fields, if you're going to be an engineer, if you're going to be in the medical field, if you are going to be in education and you're going to continue your education, right? There are great and amazing middle class jobs. We need because at the end of the day, at the end of the day, right, we talked about like we're talking about the middle class and things like that, right? So what's kind of happening right now is a lot of government jobs are being wiped away. Now, government jobs were, I mean, obviously you probably can earn more if you have a degree, but like that was kind of a safety net, and it did create kind of like a middle class for people that maybe did not have post-secondary education, but like they were still able to get a good job. Well, they've downsized the government, right? So there's not the same amount of government employees as there was. And I've seen some people talk about this is like they feel like them getting rid of all these jobs is basically wiping out is a method to wipe out the middle class, right? So so the only way that we can combat that is with our education. We need more black lawyers, we need more black doctors, we need more black nurses, we need more black engineers, we need more black teachers, right? We need more black criminologists, just in general, like just people. We need people that are getting into politics, but then have certain degrees. We need more black people with MBAs, right? We need more black people to hold certain positions, so we can kind of create our own middle class. And it's gonna be the way to drive. But yes, it does. It's nice that black women are holding the torch, man. Like they are really holding the torch, and they really holding it down when it comes to education. But eventually, they have to procreate with somebody if they want to have kids, right? They eventually gonna get married. They eventually gonna procreate with somebody. But again, the pool of men that they're kind of dating from, these men might not be college educated. They might be people that's like, living an alternative lifestyle. And I'm talking about like the law, right? They not really abiding by the law. They might have it's nothing wrong with having a trade or working class or blue collar job or anything like that. Because yeah, we should encourage trades as well. But let's not escape the fact that we still need professionals, right? We still need people with degrees, and your degrees will take you where you want to go, man. You just got to be smart about it. You have to be smart about it. You have to choose the right majors. You have to study the right things, and you have to do the research. And when I say study the right things, it requires research, man. There's all type of United States labor statistics and job outlook websites out there that are free resources that tells you what this particular career will look like in the next 10 years, in the next 15 years, right? Like, and it will tell you even locations in the country where this particular career is needed, right? So we need to be thinking about that, man, and we gotta stop discouraging our black, especially our black boys, man. We gotta stop discouraging them from going to college, man. It's a great experience, right? It is expensive. It can be expensive. College debt is not the worst kind of debt to have, right? It's not that bad, right? It sucks, but it's not the worst thing in the world. But you got to keep elevating. You got to keep elevating, man. But you can't just settle for working at your local factory. You just can't. Like you can't. Like if that's your I'm not hating on, and for the record, I'm not hating on no black men that work at no factory. I'm not. I'm not. But if you are in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s and you working at a factory, right? Wouldn't you want your sons, your nephews, your grandkids eventually, right, grandsons, wouldn't you want them to have a different path than you to elevate the family beyond what you already had? Well, you're not going to do that by just being an employee, just being a regular employee clocking in, whatever. Like, no, man, you need to earn it. You need to find a job that's paying you for your worth as opposed to paying you for your time. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference. Salary and hourly. Hourly is great, right? You're getting paid for your time, but like, I mean, basketball players don't get paid for their time, and that's a salary. Now that's different kind of career, or whatever. But like, those people are getting paid for their worth. That's the difference between salary and hourly. Getting paid for your time, but getting paid for your worth, right? And your education and your credentials, right? So let's promote that. Let's promote that. But that's all I gotta say about that, man. We can keep going. I can keep going on about it. I'd probably like to talk to somebody and kind of bend their ear about this topic as well. But we'll move on for now. We'll move on for now. So next topic. Next topic. Hold on. So I said I wanted to talk a little bit about March Madness, and when we talk about the men's Final Four, we got Florida versus Auburn, and then on the other side of the bracket we got Duke versus Houston, right? So one thing that I'll say is that one thing that's a common theme is that this was a tournament that was mostly chalk, right? So like this is not the first time that we've seen it. We've seen it several times, whatever. But this was not one of those tournaments that had a lot of different upsets and things like that. Like, no, the number one seeds, that all four number one seeds are playing in the final four, right? So that means that the rankings have been right all year for the most part, and that means that these teams right? They've risen to the occasion, and they are who we think they are. They are who they say they are, right? And but so that's one theme that I noticed is that, like, all right, man, this was a year where, like, if you watch college basketball from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, it pretty much looked this like you saw all these four teams like being at the top at some point in time, right? Another thing that I'm noticing is like players make a difference, right? Because we do got some star power in here. Cooper Flag is probably the biggest star of this group, right? Of this group. But one of the things that I'm noticing is that coaching in college basketball, coaching still matters, man. Coaching still reigns supreme in college basketball. Coaching reigns supreme in college basketball because when we're looking at these teams, right, we're seeing some familiar faces. Now, Florida's coach, right? This is his first Final Four appearance, and he had two other NCAA tourney appearances in the time that he's been in Florida. But he has 4 wins now. Those 4 wins came this season, right? So he's like the rookie, basically, right? Yeah, I mean, so we can't talk about him. John Shire, yeah, I mean, obviously, John Shire was a dog when he was going to school, whatever. But obviously, he's led Duke to having some good teams in the last few years. But I would say that he's a proven coach at this point, or he's proven that he's still that guy, and he can still hold keep Duke at that high level. But I got to talk about some coaches that had some falls from grace, but like overall they're great coaches, and they found new homes, and they're excelling, right? And that is Kelvin Sampson of Houston, right? He used to be Oklahoma's coach, and now he's at Houston, back in the Big 12, and everything like that, just dominating, right? This is his second Final Four appearance in like the last like 2 or 3 years, right? So he's turning Houston into a perennial powerhouse, right? And then we got Bruce Pearl, BP, man. Bruce Pearl, we know he had that fall from grace at Tennessee, went to another SEC. This is another team, another thing where he went to another team within the same conference, and it's proven like, yo, I'm the man. Like I've been him. Like I showed y'all before that I was him, but I'm telling y'all, like I'm really him, and I can make my teams good. So that's another thing. So coaching has been coach the teams that have been good all year are still really good, and they were contenders from the beginning. Coaching matters in college basketball, and then I'm also noticing is that experience matters a lot. Now, Duke, obviously they have the sensation Cooper Flag, right, freshman, but like all these other teams that's in the tournament, they're rocking senior play. There's a lot of teams that have senior players, and older guys. Auburn, Bruce Pearl, like he vocally talked about like how he's no longer looking at high schools to recruit, right? So college basketball is changing. It's changing in a big way where yes, with these new eligibility rules, we're seeing that the JUCO don't count no more. But like coaches are gonna be looking at JUCO schools. They're looking for older players. There's a lot of, like I said, there's seniors. There's a lot of guys that are playing in these games that are 24, 25 years old, right? That are in the tournament, right? And have been excelling. So like so the game is getting a little bit older. Coaching still is paramount, and at least for this particular year, the contenders were the contenders. So who do I think is gonna win? Who do I think is gonna win? I think Cooper Flagman is gonna put. I mean, he gonna have to put Houston out of here. But I think he's gonna put a exclamation mark, man, on his season, man. He's having this amazing year. He got the fans chanting one more season right after his games, but I think he's gonna put the exclamation mark, man, and at least get to the finals. And then I gotta go with experience here for the other game, and BP, man, Auburn. Auburn is Florida got some dogs. Florida got some seniors too. You know what I mean, Florida got a couple senior guards there that are good. Elijah Martin, the one boy Walter something junior, right? Like he's good. Like they got a good team. They got some good players. But I think BP and Auburn, man, I think they got enough experience. They got some dogs too, man. Jahani, whatever his name is, He's been doing his thing, man. He's been doing his thing. So I know it's not the best sports analysis, but I just had to, had to touch on March Madness a little bit. On the girls' side, who's left in the girls' side, man? On the women's side, like we did see a lot of the similar teams, right? A lot of the familiar faces. But yeah, in terms of the Final Four, we got UCLA, right? They've been good over the years, whatever, but like they haven't been number one in a while. Versus UConn. I got UConn because Paige Buchers. I think she's gonna do her thing, and then final like a team that lives in the Final Four, which is South Carolina versus Texas, right? I'm gonna go with South Carolina in that one, but like even in the Elite Eight, right? We had LSU there. They lost to UCLA. USC, even though JuJu got hurt, right? Yeah, I mean USC made it. I mean really far. And then we got TCU. The reason why TCU stands out is because they had that Haley Von Lith girl, who used to play for LSU, who's kind of like she didn't have the best time when she was at LSU, but like everybody remembers her when she was at Louisville. And my thing with her is just the fact that like girl, you just needed to sit still. You should have stayed at Louisville the first time. You shouldn't have left. And you just weren't a fit, whatever. Like, yes, you did your thing at TCU and you led your team and you did your thing, but like, yeah, you should have stayed put, right? And but when the spotlight was at its brightest, right, at LSU, you showed that you weren't ready, right? You weren't ready. Um, South Carolina has a team that's like they're solid, but like they do have some up and downs. Like they have some moments where they kind of struggle or they kind of scare you. They look like they're gonna lose. But I think that they could pull it out. They could pull it out, and I think we're gonna be looking at a UConn versus South Carolina national championship on the girls' side. And one of the stories or one of the things I did want to talk about was JuJu Watkins. So obviously she suffered a torn ACL injury and it put a halt to her season to the tournament. And then it brings up this question of like because women's basketball the girls have to stay in school longer than the boys do. Like I think they got to go 3 years, kind of like in college football. And the question is like, yo, well, what I mean, why shouldn't she should be able to just go to the league and make money and things like that. But like here's the thing with NIL, Juju Watkins probably makes more money. She probably makes more money in college basketball than she would in the WNBA, even with endorsement. Like at the moment, at the moment. So like the reason why girls obviously they can't go straight to the NBA. Like nobody can go straight to the NBA or WNBA anymore. Nobody can do that. But the problem with that is like we can't make that argument for women is because there's just not a lot of jobs, right? So when we talk about the NBA versus the WNBA, right? There's only 12 teams in the WNBA. There's 30 teams in the NBA, right? But in college basketball, like men's and women's, it's probably about the same. I think there's like 300. There's over 300 schools, right? D1 schools that compete and try to make these tournaments or whatever. So like if we look at it just on a numbers basis, right? Like we cannot like do too much to further accelerate women getting to the league because there's not enough jobs. There's not enough positions, right? One, it's not even consistent that these WNBA teams are around. Like we've seen different iterations of these teams. Yes, these women could go overseas, right? But then, are they going to make? Because some of them will probably make more overseas. So are we just cultivating the international system? Are we building up, the WNBA? But like I think we gotta slow our horses down, whatever. And yes, it is unfortunate that she suffered an injury, but like the answer is not necessarily to promote like her leaving and going to the professional leagues sooner, because obviously then that message will go to all women. But the problem that we face is that like there's not enough positions. There's not enough teams to go around to support a bunch of women just going to the WNBA early, right? So it's important that they finish their post secondary degree in most instances, and actually get a degree, and obviously basketball, they want that to be a part of their, their journey. But I think women, I think they understand that, like, it might not be a lucrative and smart thing for them to keep going to school. So that's just something to think about. That's just something to think about. But we're gonna go into our last topic, and then we're gonna wrap it up because I'm struggling here a little bit, but we're gonna keep pushing through here. When I say I'm struggling, I'm talking about my eye. I kind of had a little bit of I'd say an injury to my eye. That's all I'll say to that. So yeah, I wanted to speak on just some TV shows that I've been watching a little bit. I'm not gonna give full recaps or anything like that, but like just some things, what I've been watching and what I've been keeping up with, and just kind of, maybe what you think, or things that these are shows that I think that you should take a look at, right? So obviously, one of my favorite shows, and it is corny. It's a corny show. I've accepted it as corny. So don't. I'm not making it like this is the best show ever. But All American, right? All American is still on, and some people are like, "Yeah, that show is still on." Spencer James is not Ezra. His name is Ezra or something. He's not even in the show anymore. Like, why would you still watch that? Why would you still watch that? Well, see, it's a season 7 now of America of All American. So it's season 7, and I gotta say, man, I'm loving this infusion of new characters, right? So they've basically, like, certain characters have gotten older, right? Jordan, he did not, like, he had too many concussions, so like he elected not to go to the draft, right? Even though he won like a he won a national championship, and then like stopped playing ball because of his concussions, right? So you got him. So basically, he's like the main guy now. He is Spencer James, so to speak, in some ways. In some ways, and now he's coaching at South Crenshaw High. So he's basically following his dad's footsteps, but he's like an assistant coach. So he has to earn his way there. Obviously, he's with Layla. Cooper's still on the show. Olivia still makes appearances, right? Right. She's pregnant on the show. I don't know if we'll see Spencer at all. I don't know if he'll make an appearance, but the one white boy is not on the show anymore. The wide receiver guy, he's not on the show anymore. But like, you got certain base people. Cooper's still on the show. Preach is still on the show, and his daughter Amina. Amina is older now, so they made her a little bit of an older character, and she's on the show. And then when we talk about Beverly, right, they have a new quarterback, this young boy named KJ, and then his dad is the new coach, right? So, and he's like working under Billy Baker's shadow, and he gets pissed about it. His son has an obsession with Jordan Baker, and he looks up to Jordan because Jordan did well with Beverly, but like his dad is like discouraging any type of like friendship or anything like that, whatever. So I like what they doing. I like what they doing with the show. Um, I just think that this show is funny though. Like All American is so funny because, yo, there's no sense of time in All American. Like I'm telling you, like, watch an episode of All American and it don't make sense, right? Because be- and I'm all for, and here's this thing, I'm all for like shows having continuity and like believability and realism, right? So this is what I mean, right? So they'll be at school, right? They'll be at school, and then they'll end up being at like Layla's bar, like, and there'll be kids there at the bar, right? And then it don't be the next day, it be the same day. They're back at school, and then you're wondering like how the fuck, whatever. And then they're going to a party in the evening, and then they're on the field at practice, and it's like, when the hell did, like, what kind of day is this? How many hours are in the day? Is it evening? Is it nighttime? So I like to pay attention to that. Like I like to pay attention to that, and I'll be noticing. I'll be like, yo, this shit is all over the place. Like what time is it right now? Right. Another thing that I find hilarious in this show, and this is about continuity and just like believability, bro. One of the craziest things is how adults just be walking into these schools, yo. They just be, not only do they walk into the schools, because like, yes, you can go to a school, whatever, but they be walking into people's classrooms. And I'm gonna tell you right now, that is not allowed. Like, you are not allowed, you are not in 2025. They are not allowing parents or adults of any type just walking in into your kid's classroom and interrupting the day, whatever, right? So it's crazy. There's a character there's a couple other characters there, but there's this one character, I call him Evil Chris Brown, right? Evil Chris Brown. Yo, he has a son that goes to South Crenshaw, and like, he basically, this dude is like a gangbanger, right? And his son, right, is has always protected his dad, but like, he really is trying to change his life. Like, he don't want to be associated with his dad that much, but his dad be trying to make him his accomplice in crimes and stuff like that. And he be literally trying to pull this kid out of school. Like, yo, Evil Chris Brown just be showing up into the classroom and be like, hey, yo, let's go, let's ride out, man. We about to bust a move real quick, whatever. And then the kid be like, but dad, I got homework. And he be like, I don't give a fuck about your homework, man. I'm your dad. And then like, then he leaves. And then he be having to apologize to everybody and stuff like that. But like, Evil Chris Brown, first off, he ain't old enough to be this guy's dad. Second off, the actor that plays the son, he looked like he about 25 years old, whatever. They just shaved his face, whatever. He don't look like a kid. They two completely different complexions, which I don't have no problem with that. But we got light skinned dad, dark skinned son. That don't I'm gonna say that don't really happen, right? You know what I mean, I'm a light skinned son and I have a dark skinned dad. I'm a light skinned dad and I have a light skinned son. Now, and we talking about, I have a child to a chocolate woman. You know what I'm saying? So you know what I mean? Like, it don't really go. It don't really go. I don't understand it. But like, but this dude, Evil Chris Brown, he's the worst father character I've ever seen in any TV show ever. Like, he's the worst. He's definitely the worst. But he is funny. He was in the Step Up series. So my man Terrence Green, shout out to Terrence Green, man, former guest of the show, YC legend. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, former guest of the show. He used to be on Step Up with and Terrence Green was a star of that with Neo and stuff like that. But I call this guy Evil Chris Brown because he looks like Chris Brown, but like evil version. Kind of like how Joe Budden is evil Common. You know what I'm saying? And other people have evil iterations, but that's evil Chris Brown there. So I think it's dope, man. I think it's dope, but like, it's there's just certain things that be like, it don't make sense with the show. And then last thing I don't like, the one thing I don't like is that I don't like how they be trying to recycle like storylines. Like, so they tried to make this storyline where Jordan Baker, his coworker, which is his boss, which is a coach, is supposed to be like a long lost brother of his dad, and like, they try to, and then it was like a similar thing where they thought there was something there, but then they found out like, it like they had no connection or no relation at all. But like, just like, all right, y'all can't be recycling those storylines. Y'all did that with Spencer and Jordan and all them, right? And Billy Baker. And then you did it with the Homecoming series, like the spinoff with the Homecoming one. You did that, and they were actually brothers, right? With the main pitcher, and then the catcher guy. Like, y'all already done this, whatever. But y'all can't keep digging in that well, right? You gotta dip your feet out of there. You know what I'm saying? You can't keep doing that. But overall, I think you should watch All American. It's still funny. It's still good. It still makes you feel good, man. And this is what I gotta say, man. I don't know who exactly are the producers and the writers for All American, but All American is still mostly black cast. They do black entertainment way better than Tyler Perry does. Like, I don't care. It's way more believable. It's the people, everybody on the show just is like vibrant and well put together. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they do, the writing is way better, way more authentic, way more believable than anything that I've ever seen Tyler Perry do. So, well, on a TV level, because now Tyler Perry do got some. If it ain't Medea, he do got some stuff that's not bad. But you never know. You never know. Another show that I've been that I recently checked out. Oh my god. I can't talk too much about what happens in this show, but I need you remember y'all remember Seventh Heaven? Remember the show Seventh Heaven? So, do y'all remember that the actor the Stephen Collins, he played he played Reverend Camden, right? The dad, right? Do y'all remember that my man had a scandal? Like like some stuff came out about him, whatever. So I've been watching this. It's on HBO Max. It's called it's called Hollywood Demons. Hollywood Demons. And basically, it's supposed to be this series, which I don't know when they air new episodes because this was the only episode that was out, and it looked like they're previewing some cool things. But it's basically talking about like people in Hollywood that had like either like bad things happen to them that like we forgot about, or like they have like some dark, they have like a dark history to them, right? And the first episode of this series is based on Stephen Collins. And I was thinking like, damn, what the hell Stephen Collins do? Because I remember Seventh Heaven. Like I said I remember there was a time when I was watching it like when it would come out. Like, and yo, Seventh Heaven was the biggest show ever on the WB. So I don't know if y'all remember the WB. So the WB and UPN actually merged and created the CW. So what we know is the CW. But no, it used to be the WB, and then it was UPN. They were two separate networks, and then they merged, whatever. However, when it was on the WB, and like that was shows like Sister was on there, Jamie Foxx show. I think Smart Guy might have been on the WB at one point in time. The Wayans brothers, right? Shows like that, right? Those were all. I think even no, Girlfriends was a UPN show, but anyway, you know, like there was a time when Seventh Heaven was the leading show. Yeah, but yeah, shows like Dawson's Creek and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. But like the most popular show on that network at a time was Seventh Heaven, and it was like mad wholesome. It was a family of seven people, like the mom, dad, and they had five kids, and they were like a religious family. But it wasn't a religious show. It was like they called it like a moral show, and it was great, man. It was real wholesome, but like it was like really believable and a little bit corny. Like and I mean, because I've seen some recaps of Seven Heaven in recent years on social media, and it's hilarious how like they had us watching this, but like they had us eating out of the palm of their hand. Like they was mad popular. But anyway, um, Stephen Collins, after the show ended, like 5 years after the show ended, a bunch of stuff came out about him. And one thing I would say is fortunately, it was never nothing. He ain't never do nothing on the show. He never did nothing to any cast member that was on the show, any of the young people that he interacted with. He never did anything like that with anybody on the show. Unfortunately, he had a series of incidents. Like all these incidents were like 10 years apart, but like they all involved minor females, right? That's all I'll say. That's all I'll say. I don't want to get into what those things were. You can watch it for yourself, and because I don't want to get banned or flagged or anything like that. But yo, it was mind blowing. It was mind blowing, and I was like, yo, so you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it to the end. But yeah, I mean, like there's gonna be an episode. There's episodes with all different type of people, but Ashanti's on that show. Like so, something, and like it looked like she was like talking about like she's the person talking. So like she was the victim of something. So like, yo, I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it. I can't wait. I love to tell y'all when it comes on, but it's on HBO Max. And just check your local listings. You know what I'm saying, check it out and look for it. And then the last show, I just want to just bring this to your attention. Did y'all know that there is a show right now that's like loosely related to the Lakers, and it's about Jeannie Buss, right? Like, so Dr. Jerry Buss, like the main, he was the owner of the Lakers, right? So his daughter is like she has a pivotal role in the Lakers. And I don't know to what her role is at the moment or whatever. But this show, it stars Kate Hudson. It's on Netflix. It's called Pushing Points, right? And it's basically the story. It's the Jeannie Buss story, but very loosely connected and loosely related. And obviously they don't use like real names, but it's a dope show because just seeing all the characters and like what you're doing when you're watching it, you're trying to put like who is this person supposed to be emulating? Who is this person supposed to be emulating? And I feel like there's a player on there that's kind of like Kobe. There's players on there that kind of resemble or make you feel like they're like real Lakers. But like it's kind of dope how like they made a comedy series that's like loosely related to her, and like when she was like in charge of the Lakers at one point in time, and she may still be in charge now. But because I know they have a good GM, Mitch Kupchak. But yeah, Jeannie Buss. I remember her brother was a main part of the show, but like, or main part of the Lakers as well, Jim Buss. But like on the show, and it makes me want to like do some cross research. Something like on the show, he has like a something happens to him. He has like an accident, and he's still alive, whatever, but he's not well. So he like puts his sister in charge because he's the one that gets to make decisions. And so I'm wondering like if that's what happened with Jim Buss and Jeannie Buss, right? If did Jim pass it off to Jeannie at one point in time? Jeannie Buss though, she did date Phil Jackson for a little bit. A lot of people know Jeannie Buss because she dated Phil Jackson for a second, but I don't know if they're still together or what their situation was. But I had fun tonight. I'm about to wrap this up. If you're still watching the channel, though, I need you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment if you want to join the conversation, share the content as well. Fun episode. You need to go check out all those shows that I told you about. You need to encourage black boys to go to college. What else do you need to do? You need to stop being a victim and living in your circumstances. And what else did we talk about? Yeah, that's it. Oh, March Madness, and we did talk a little bit about March Madness. I did have one other thing I wanted to talk about, but we're running out of time, man. I gotta go. This is another episode of the 2D Plus Podcast, y'all. It's your boy Los Def, episode 186, and I'm out, y'all.